It's a brand new day.
So I'm in the middle of Hollywood today, getting ready to go into this reading. I feel like I definitely am going to make a connection with the client. And as of right now, I am starting to pick up on a couple impressions. Hello, how are you?
How are you?
To meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Emily.
Oh, wonderful to meet you, Emily.
Come on in.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? My name is Emily VanCamp. Tyler might recognize me from a TV show that I did, Revenge, maybe more recently Captain America, but who knows? I'm excited to see. I have no clue.
Great.
Have a seat.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, this is so
This is our
cute.
little station here today.
I love it.
I mean, I'm a believer. I feel like, you know, there's got to be a lot more to this world.
The way that I like to kind of do a reading is really to be detail-oriented. So I'm just going to see what comes through. And we'll go from there.
All right. I'm definitely interested in the medium side of things. There's been a lot of loss in my family over the past few years, and there was no closure. You know, you miss these people so much, and I think in my family we do have this tremendous belief that they're all around us, and to actually confirm that would just be so beautiful, and it could be a very healing day. We'll see.
I first want to say, immediately as I sit down, I'm going to your mom's side of family, and I feel like I have to talk about your grandfather on your mother's side.
Okay.
So for some reason, I immediately, sat down and was like, we're going there.
Okay, Grandpa, great.
Yeah, so is your grandfather on your mom's side passed?
Yes,
okay.
he has.
Thank you. The interesting thing that I really wanted to kind of touch on is he was coming through insistently on the way here. And there's a feeling of I'm the guy, I'm the one who's meant to come through, he is making a very strong connection. Were we hoping to hear from him today?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I'm just gonna kind of navigate this. I have the chills.
Yeah,
It's
it's happening. The feels are happening
yes,
already.
Exactly. The feeling is if we need to fix something, if we need this, that, or the other, it's this is the guy that we can go to and trust to know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes in the way this will come through, if someone isn't technically a carpenter, but we would go to them if they if we needed something removed
That was
from
my
our yard.
grandpa. Yeah. He has this work shed.
Exactly.
And sort of he built things and just.
Right.
So that was sort of one of the things that he did.
Okay. Maternal side. Okay. Do you know if he used to have an older pickup truck?
My grandpa?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you know if he drove okay? Let me think about how to word this. I'm basically seeing an old man in a vehicle. And the feeling is basically when I look at this, I would think for the person's age, I don't know if it would be the safest for them to drive.
Right.
That kind of thing. So did he drive when he was older?
Yes.
Okay. It's a feeling of an older man who wouldn't give up his license.
Yeah, no.
It's even if I'm, yeah. So.
But he was still very fit and,
right.
you know, yeah.
Right. That is so weird. He's snapping his fingers at me, which always indicates a reference to quick, but it's acknowledgement of a quicker passing. It just seems kind of completely, the feeling that comes across is I'm here and I'm gone.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It was very sudden.
I'm so sorry. More than anything, there seems to be more, if there's any acknowledgement of sadness around it, it's where it actually happened, where he actually died. Because he, for whatever reason, is having me just acknowledge the place where I passed, and a feeling of that not being right. It doesn't feel right to me.
He died, he was leaving a grocery store.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Kind of out in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a huge tragedy because it was a car accident. And it wasn't his fault. It was a young driver who hit him.
Do you know if he was alone?
He was.
Yeah. And that might have been, because I'm seeing an older guy driving, it could in my mind be his way symbolically of saying, I went to the store,
yeah.
And kind of showing him in transit. Mm-hmm. But he's acknowledging, alone, and I don't want people to have to see me, and I'm actually thankful that I kind of passed away quickly without this feeling of, I don't want family around to see me.
Right, to see him weak, or he went out strong,
exactly.
essentially.
And people will remember him that way.
So interesting, because my parents talk about that sometimes.
Right.
You know, it was horrible for us.
Yeah.
And we just all felt so cheated. And my mom wanted me to say, she's still so angry that she asked him to go get bacon. And she wanted me to see if there was any kind of reference to that.
Right.
She feels like it's her fault.
Right.
And I'd love to alleviate that for her. I think there's just so much, guilt associated with that. And I mean, we don't see it like that, but my mom sees it like that, you know?
Of course. It's always hard. I mean, I think in the way this comes across, there's never an easy way to pass, there's never an ideal time to die, but when people come through, they acknowledge really understanding sometimes what they didn't in life, and they come through with these understandings of, oh, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. Because to them, to the dead, death is not a big deal.
Yeah.
To us, it's a big deal because it equates to loss.
Exactly.
And so from his perspective, if anything, he acknowledges he's all good, it's more family that he's focused on. And that seems to always be the case with them.
I was standing in my kitchen when my mom called me, and it was one of the most horrible calls I've ever received. He wouldn't have wanted to be seen suffering and weak. I mean, that in itself is such a gift to know that.
Did your grandfather pass first and then your grandmother pass away after?
Yeah.
How far away did they pass away?
I think it was about 1.5 years.
Your grandmother's coming through and she's acknowledging basically a dual cause of death. So when they do that, that's their way of basically saying, I started with one thing and another thing came in.
Yeah.
She's bringing me to her lungs and breathing.
Oh my God, how do you know this?
I know. And she's basically acknowledging, like, I feel like I could have fought that one thing, but the feeling is this other came in and I knew that I couldn't beat it. And then she acknowledged not wanting to be put on life support. It was like very insistent. She's like, do not put me on life support, like, let me go. So she did have some time to kind of process this. I think it would have just been more difficult for family. And she wants everyone to know she's fine, she's okay. She comes across like a big old smile.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a feeling
So
of,
good.
on her end, she's just more making sure that everybody else is okay. I wanted to make sure that everyone was able to process this. But she understands how things happened and there's a feeling of peace.
My grandma, I think, had already had a lung, it was a pulmonary something or other. Something that she had lived with for a long time, but I think with my grandfather passing, it just sort of sped things up a little bit. They were married for so many years, and I think it just sort of, I think she just wanted to be with my grandpa.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the beauty of it is that they are together and that they're able to make that connection.
That's amazing. They were like the captains of our ship, and then it really created a bit of chaos, I think. I think inevitably death does that, but when it is the matriarch and the patriarch, you know, it just it threw us all for a loop, to say the least. And we're still dealing with it. But this is really really helps in the healing process, I think.
Was your grandmother pretty insistent on staying where she was living, such that they're having me talk about the house, but they're having me talk about it being passed down through generations, or like the house that stays in the family?
Oh my God.
And there's an acknowledgement of a discussion about what's done with this house after she passes.
Yes.
And there's a whole situation within family of, what do we do now? Like,
I can't believe you're saying this. Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes. We didn't really want to get rid of it, but you know, it was passed on to my mom and her siblings, and so they actually ended up buying the house and they're refurbishing it right now.
Awesome.
So we've kept it in the family. And what does he feel about that? Like,
the acknowledgement that comes through this is a feeling of like thumbs up, as in basically to acknowledge, thank you for going through the steps of holding on to this.
It was a really hard, difficult process for my family.
It's like an uphill battle.
Yes, like big time, but it was the right thing.
Right,
It was the right thing.
100%.
Oh, wow.
100%.
Oh, my parents are gonna be happy to hear that. It was a huge struggle. The fact that he knew about my grandparents' home and that whole situation was completely mind-blowing. It was just, there were just so many conversations about what they were gonna do with it. And it was actually when an offer was on the table that my mom kind of panicked and said, no, we've gotta make this work. Whatever we need to do, let's make it work.
She's having me communicate basically, like, staying where she was at. The feeling is like, I like where I live, I'm gonna stay here. Yeah. But now, did she live in the house all the way, like for
pretty much all the way? End, yeah.
But she's also having me acknowledge this feeling of being smart enough to know that I can't stay here. I know that if something's wrong, I need to go to the hospital. Like, even though I feel like I want to stay at home and I want to hold on to this.
That's what happened. The last week, she was ill, and she was adamant to stay home.
Right.
Oh my God, this is emotional. When they called the ambulance, she said to my aunt, I just wish you would have given me 20 more minutes. And she knew that was gonna be the last time.
She did, and I want you to know she's still connected to the home, that from her perspective, there's a sense of joy and a sense of freedom from not being limited to her physical body. And no doubt this is a place where they want you to continue spending memories. So the feeling is really just an appreciation for holding on to that.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. We didn't really know if it was the right move. And now I think we just have a little bit more validation that it was the right thing. And I think, yeah, my mom will be so happy to hear that. Thank you so much.
Of course.
This has just been so insane.
I'm so glad.
I cannot wait to talk to my family.
I think it'll really help to kind of deliver those messages from Mom.
Yeah. Tyler was just extraordinary. Everything about this whole experience was perfection. I feel relieved. I feel like there was a real connection that was made to my grandparents, and that's just, it's amazing. And I have such a gift to offer my family now too. So all in all, it was a beautiful day.